Hey everybody, welcome back to another crafting show with me, Avivah, your art director from the Ed Asner Family Center. We're going to be doing a very fun project today. Actually pretty quick and easy if you're just feeling crafty and needing to just be inside for a little bit and enjoy some AC because it's been super hot. I'm going to just get into it today. Today we are making raised salt art. And that sounds so weird. You're going to be like, Avivah, what the heck are we doing? But it's super simple. And some people like to call it salty watercolors. I like that name a lot more. But what you're going to need for your raised salt art is definitely paper towels, like always. Always going to need that when you're crafting. So when it comes to paint, if you have liquid watercolors, those are always the best, but I don't have those right now, so I'm using some food coloring, and that'll work perfectly fine if you just mix a little water in so it's not so thick. I'm going to be using my nice plastic palette today, but if you only have some cups at home, that's fine too. Just make sure you're using something that you don't mind getting a little bit inky. So maybe some of your paint cups that you usually use. Or bottle caps. If you have some old bottle caps, it's not going to be a lot. You're not going to need a lot of paint for this project. You're definitely going to need a squeeze bottle type of glue. So if you only have glue sticks, you might need to go to the craft store. Definitely, you're going to need something with a squeeze top. And finally, some salt. Alrighty. And a paintbrush. Alright. So, here I have any kind of surface will do. You might want to put something underneath because you're going to be using this lots of glue for this project. So you want to make sure that you have something underneath that might not get, glue kind of peels off, so it's not a huge deal, but it's always good to be safe. So as for paper today, I'm using some thick cardstock paper, and it's really important when you're using heavy kind of materials like glue, you want to make sure you've got something sturdy behind it. So what you're going to be doing for this project is you're really going to be needing a clear space. I'm using white today, but it's also really cool if you use colored pictures because you'll see once the finished result happens. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be very beautiful and popped out. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your squeeze glue and you're going to think of a design that you want your picture to be. So today I think as for my colors, I've got some pink and brown and black. And so it's kind of an interesting color combination, but I think I'm going to try and make maybe like an eyeball or something cool I'd like to hang in my art room, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for it, and imagine that you're drawing with a pencil but squeezing with glue. I'm not pressing my tip to the paper. I'm really just going to be lightly lifting it off the page. So see as I go, I am just kind of hovering over the paper as I let the glue fall. And so I'm going to make my design, and then when we're done, I'm going to tell you the next step. So now that I have my design, you see I have some skinnier parts, I've had some thicker parts, and I'm sure you know as my fellow crafters that glue takes a long time to dry. So by the end of this, you're going to definitely want your art to finish drying at least for about a full day or two. So you can't really see it that well right now. Maybe the shadows will do it some justice, but all I have on my paper right now is the glue. So now, as a super fun part, I suggest, if you're not already using a surface to do some glue paint on, I suggest taking a paper towel and putting it underneath your picture. Because now, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking your salt and just covering the whole surface of all of your glue lines that you've made, okay? My glue is kind of stuck. There we go. I'm covering all the glue bits. My glue's a little stuck. I need to kind of loosen it up. Okay. All right. You're not going to need a lot, so just do like enough that you can tell that all the surface area is covered and you have a little bit extra. Because now that I'm done covering most of those surfaces, I'm going to take this excess amount of salt and kind of just roll it around my paper and making sure that all of my little glue sides of my lines are covered. Okay, and now I tap off the rest onto my paper towel. And I'm actually just going to lay it back down because I want to make sure that I don't get any of this food coloring on my table. So I'm just going to move this up here. Now that I have my salt on there, I'm just going to let it sit for a second. It's not super necessary to let it sit, but now is the time that I'm going to be mixing my colors, okay? So I think for my eye, I'm going to make her iris, the color of her eye, very pink. She's going to have pink eyes. So just a few drops is all you're going to need. And some black for the eyelashes. And a little bit of brown on my neck circle. I'm really only doing like 3 drops. And then very carefully, I am going to be pouring in my water. If you have a dropper, like, which I do not, I definitely suggest doing it like that, because pouring it like this is very tedious. Unless you have a bigger cup. That makes it a lot easier. Success! Okay. I'm just going to mix those up with the back of my paintbrush here. If they're not fully diluted, it's okay. The ink will definitely show. Okay, just gonna dab it there. Dab. Nice. Okay, cool. So the brown and the black I'm seeing look super similar, but hopefully it shows up on my picture, you can see. But here, what I'm going to do is all you're going to need is to take your paintbrush, and I suggest getting your paintbrush a little bit wet first. And then you're going to be deciding where you want your colors to go, okay? So I definitely want the iris, the color of the eye, to be pink. So I'm just going to take my paintbrush and dot it. See how cool it is? Because of the sand, it spreads through all of the other little sections. And you're going to have to do dots throughout, but it's so pretty the way that it spreads. So I'm just doing a light tap to the glue. That's why people call it salty watercolors. And as you see, obviously, if you touch a section that kind of runs out on the side, it will kind of bleed into the rest of your picture. So keep that in mind when you're making your lines. I personally don't mind. I kind of like it kind of blending together. I think it looks pretty. Alrighty, looks pretty good. And now I'm just going to do the rest of the colors. So enjoy this nice, satisfying little video until we come back for the final result. Okay, finishing off my last little eyelash here. I'm actually really loving the way it turned out. It's so pretty. And I feel like the main reason why I enjoy doing art like this is because it doesn't really matter at the end what it looks like, as long as you had fun doing it. This is one of those projects that's really like the best part of this whole process is really just making the art and being creative, you know, because I've had so much fun just watching this paint kind of spread throughout all this salty, gluey mixture. It's been so fun and so satisfying. And here's my finished result. Just a nice little eyeball for you friends. That's why now you can probably understand why doing like a more colorful background maybe like a black or like dark blues, nice warm, cool colors, you know, like blues and purples would look really pretty if you did some nice color contrasting colors on the top, you know. It'd be really, really cool to see what you guys are making at home, because this is such an easy project to do. You have no excuse. If you have food color, if you have water, which we all have hopefully, and if you have salt, you can make something beautiful too. But that's going to be it today. That's going to be our quick little easy salty watercolor project. I hope you had fun. I certainly did. Please send me your art, your salty watercolor art, to Avivah at edasnerfamilycenter.org. I hope to see you next Saturday, because I love crafting with you, okay? Come, hop on your computer, get creative. All right. See you guys next time.